and my goal from the beginning has been to find a county commissioner designate for Precinct 4 who would be the best choice for the constituents of Precinct 4, plain and simple. With that in mind, clearly there were a lot of criteria, but some that I looked at the most were first, mature judgment, somebody that would bring a keen intellect to Commissioner's Court and would look at policy issues for what they are, namely policy issues. Somebody who would be open and honest and focused on the job at hand, not at a lot of the peripheral stuff that goes on. And of course, perhaps most important, somebody that would be completely in tune with the residents of Precinct 4. That's a high bar to set, all those criteria. But I think the process has yielded a person who fits perfectly, and that person is Judge Jack Cagle. Judge Cagle brings to this position a judicial demeanor, which is very, very important. Someone who will review the facts, make decisions based on those facts. The intellect, I'll let him explain this comment a little bit more, but I had a long conversation with Jack about his grandfather and the values that his grandfather instilled in him about intellectual curiosity. And then it's very important that in talking to people around Precinct 4 and throughout the county, that all of them talked about Jack Cagle's maturity and his ability to rise above a lot of the chit-chat that goes on. Because as you know, to use a technical term, that stuff drives me nuts. You really want to focus on what are the policies going forward in the county. And last but not least, I would be remiss if I didn't mention having another fellow Rice graduate Commissioner's Court obviously is a plus. This is not my day, this is Jack Cagle's day. I'm very pleased to present to you my choice for Precinct 4 County Commissioner, Jack Cagle.
Thank you, Judge. My first thanks goes to the Lord God Almighty, for without whom nothing could be possible. Secondly, I'd like to thank my family, and most of you will have the opportunity to meet them in my swearing in that will occur tomorrow. But thirdly, and essentially I want to thank you, Judge. Our judge has taken us through hurricanes, he's taken us through difficult times, and I think that almost equivalent to that is this process to where he had to go through the replacement of a commissioner. And once the waters ebbed and the storms ceased, I am very grateful that I am his selection to represent the people of Precinct 4 and the citizens there. I'd like to thank Jerry Eversole for his 20 years of service to Precinct 4, and I'd like to thank my fellow commissioners that I'll be working arm in arm with for the betterment of all of the citizens of this county, as well as those within Precinct 4. And if you look around this room, you'll see that there are a lot of prominent citizens of our community that are here. Our state rep, David Riddle, our constable, Hickman. We've got our chairman of the Republican Party, Jerry Woodfull, SRAC members, former SD chairs that are filling this room. I want to thank the county clerk, our county attorney. I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to thank you for the privilege of being able to work with you over the years as a judge, and now to be able to move into this next stage of my life as a county commissioner. Last but not least, I want to thank the citizens of Precinct 4. I practice law in that region. I have my law office there. I was a precinct chair in Precinct 4. I've lived and breathed and campaigned over the years in Precinct 4. It is my precinct, and it is a privilege for me to be able to serve the citizens of that precinct at this time. one of the things that's interesting is that when I told my daughter, I have 3 children, and my youngest is 10. Her name is Elizabeth. She's my spirited child. She said, "Daddy, I know what a judge is, but what does a commissioner do?" And so I had to step back a little bit and think, well, what does a commissioner do in the eyes of a 10-year-old? And as I thought about that for a little while, I realized that what a commissioner does is that they, first of all, they have to take care of the parks. That's very important if you are someone who is 10. 2, as we're driving down the road and going over a little section that was not in Precinct 4, but the roads were a little bumpier there, they take care of the potholes to make sure that the roads and the citizens are taken care of. And the third thing in the eyes of a 10-year-old that a commissioner does is that they plan for the future so that her future will be secure and she will have the things that she needs. It doesn't take long to be around our county judge to know that he has a vision that's not just for tomorrow, but a vision for 10, 15, and 20 years into the future to where we can go. And that's important. I've gotten to serve as a caretaker in my role as a judge, deciding issues involving this precinct as well as the rest of the county for almost 11 years now. But the role of a judge is that of a caretaker, if you're to honor that separation of powers that we have. But if you want to be a builder for the future, if you want to be someone to make the policy with regard to how are we going to prevent the bad water and get the good water for the residents of Precinct 4, if we're going to have the planes, trains, boats, and roads that we need to have to be developed in this precinct for the folks that are coming in, especially with Exxon coming in and the expansion of the port and the other things that we have coming our way, then if you have a passion for the future and you're a judge, you have to lay those judicial robes down and seek the opportunity to serve another avenue. Judge, I lay my robes down and I join arm in arm with you for the future to take care of the parks, the potholes, and to plan to build a great future. Thank you for this privilege and this opportunity.